Bonjour à tous, moi je suis de retour de la place de foot. Aujourd'hui, tout notre épisode est consacré au jeu de Rage. Et puis, qu'est-ce que tu peux dire sur Rage?
Alors Rage vient des créateurs des jeux, ceux qui ont inventé les jeux de tir à la première personne, ceux qui avaient créé Doom et puis Quake. Et là ils sortent un nouveau jeu qui est tout aussi innovant, tout aussi créatif. D'ailleurs on va regarder un petit extrait du jeu maintenant.
Dreams stripped down beyond firelight and seeing things unreal, and what comes crawling back again, tears of harbor down to the thorny altar. I'm afraid I might fade away.
Apophis, dieu tout-puissant du chaos, a déchaîné sa colère sur le juste et le corrompu. Il a laissé derrière lui ces terres dévastées, qu'on appelle le Westland. Ici, l'anarchie a remplacé la loi. Mais il suffirait d'un seul homme pour établir la justice. Alors, t'es prêt pour le job? Ici c'est simple, tuer ou être tué.
En fait, tu sais d'où elle vient l'idée de Rage?
Oui, alors l'idée de base, je crois que c'est un astéroïde qui doit s'écraser, enfin qui doit passer très près de la Terre en 2036, qui s'appelle Apophis, c'est ça? Et ils sont inspirés de ça?
Oui, c'est vrai, parce que l'Apophis, c'est un astéroïde qui existe vraiment en réalité.
Exactement, ouais. Oui, tout à fait. Et puis, en fait, ils sont inspirés de ça. Mais par contre, dans le jeu, l'astéroïde s'écrase sur Terre et bien sûr, ça crée... tout le monde change et puis il y a un gros nuage de poussière et après les gens ils doivent apprendre à survivre et à sortir de là. Donc on va regarder d'ailleurs une interview avec le producteur du jeu qui nous explique justement d'où vient l'idée du jeu et puis quelques nouveautés dans le genre. Voilà.
So the story of Rage. We had the setting, we knew we wanted heaven on Earth, then we had to decide how we would destroy the planet. And we actually found that there's a real asteroid, which is called Apophis, which will pass by the planet around 2036. So in the fictional world of Rage, when the governments of the world discovered that Apophis would hit us and destroy most of civilization, they initiated a program called the Eden Project. So the game starts out where you are an Ark survivor. You are one of those people buried in 2036. Your Ark emerges from the ground 100 years later.
It is famous for having incredible graphics. So I wanted to have this real combat feel to it.
Remember, to be of use to us, you must be able to move around freely.
We decided to kind of make animations using motion capture.
In Rage, we have upwards of 6,000 animations that have been created. One type of character may have 300, 400, 500 animations that go with them.
By applying those animations, the character is starting to look a lot more interesting.
You also look interesting.
When you're actually in combat with an AI, they have multiple layers themselves.
When you shoot at the enemy, they'll actually react to the shot. So they'll freak out and they get into this scramble mode where he's running around trying to save his life and then dive into cover. And this is not really scripted, it's just based on what you've done to the enemy, which will change the AI state, and then they will play these different state of animations.
Show me what you can do, and get the hell out of here.
Comme toujours dans ce genre de jeu, on a le classique fusil à pompe, le shotgun, mais ils ont réussi également à innover avec le wingstick, qui est une sorte de grenade qui part, qui coupe les têtes qui revient. Enfin,
Un boomerang.
Une sorte de boomerang, exactement. Et puis je crois tu les as rencontrés à l'E3.
Oui, bien sûr. Moi, j'ai fait une entrevue avec le développeur à l'E3 et on va jeter un coup d'œil sur ces vidéos maintenant.
You know, I've always loved shotguns in all of the id games especially.
I think if we didn't have a shotgun, a lot of fans would be upset.
But the crossbow, because it's so different and so new, it's almost like this utility weapon.
My favorite weapon in Rage is the wing stick.
Let me guess. You want to know how to throw a wing stick?
The wing stick is an offhand, instant throw weapon.
The wing stick is such an iconic weapon. It's this bladed death boomerang, and it has like a smart nano targeting core is some of the mythos that we've built into it.
And if you time it right, you can chop the heads off the mutants with it.
So when you start making a game, you really don't have this Bible that, here, I'm going to create the game and this is the blueprints for it. It kind of just evolves. The coolest element that's involved is actually, again, it's back to the diversity. It's the fact that there's so many different elements. I love things like the wing stick. Offhand, simple, one button click, you're throwing out this weapon that you haven't seen in other games. But also like the sentry bot is just cool. You know, it actually dynamically traverses the environment, and it's like your own special little pet, you know, you can use in the game. You know, as a designer, one thing we're always looking for is just a good excuse to do all the cool gameplay things we want to do. So with Rage, you know, people that know id Software, they know us for Doom, Quake, and these franchises that have been around for a long time. With Rage, we're doing something totally different. And the story, you know, the basics of it are a giant asteroid is coming on, you know, on an impact collision course with Earth. The governments of the world get together and they start the Eden Project. They bury these little life-sustaining pods all around the planet. The idea is that when the dust has settled from the impact, these pods will rise up, you'll come out and rebuild society. So when you begin the story, you're one of the members of these little modern-day arcs. You're supposed to step off and start to rebuild society. But of course, the world is just a twisted version of the world you used to know. So you step out in this hostile world, and it's right from the start, it's a fight for survival. But the beauty of the story is how it unfolds for the player from that point. That's just a cool excuse to get you into the story. But we still have those shooter elements. It's nice and focused and, you know, this well-crafted experience. But we've added all these different things to the game. You know, you've heard of offhand weapons like a grenade, but now we have things like wing sticks, this little boomerang-like device that goes out, decapitates a mutant, and comes back to the player. And we call them quick use. But part of this quick use system, this ability to select and use items, we have things that you can craft yourself as a player. So you can build little personal turrets or a little sentry bot to, you know, go alongside of you and fight. You can even craft some different ammo types for your weapons. So there's a lot of diversity there, and what we do is we teach you how to use it, then it's up to you to decide when and where you're going to use those items throughout the rest of the game. But what we tried to do is give each of the bandit clans a unique flavor. They talk a little different, they look a little different, and they behave a little different, and they use weapons that are a little different. Then we threw in mutants. So you have mutants that are our size, and then you have mutants that are, you know, 10 feet tall, and then you have mutants that are 10 stories tall. So we have that element. And then that sci-fi presence, the authority. You know, later in the game, they become more and more when you have the arsenal to finally take them down. So again, it's about diversity. There's a lot of different AI, and we keep you on your toes as a player.
Aujourd'hui, il y a aussi un concours, et puis répondez à notre question, et puis écrivez ça sur l'adresse email, mais en fait, il y a encore comme question.
Alors la question du jour, ce sera qui est le créateur donc, de Doom et de Rage? Voilà, quel studio a produit ce jeu? Très bien.
Alors écrivez-nous à l'adresse en bas. Puis avec un peu de chance, vous pouvez gagner ce goodie bag.
Ouais, et qui est plein de bonnes choses. Vous allez recevoir ça à la maison lorsque vous aurez bien répondu et qu'on vous aura sélectionné pour le concours. Voilà. Alors n'oubliez pas de nous rejoindre sur Facebook à l'adresse Xbox Suisse. Et puis on se réjouit de vous voir tout prochainement. À bientôt.
À bientôt.